Science, and this is my brother, Kevin Fogg. Hi, everybody, and we want to thank you again for purchasing one of our grab-and-go STEM packages.
And of course, staying safer at home. Thank you.
Now remember, while we're shooting this video, you can pause, fast forward, rewind, even start the video over again if you have any questions or concerns. So, let's get started with Lesson 5, Electrified Robotics.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for our Lesson 5, Electrified Robotics, in order to start, there's so many cool things in this lesson. It's one of our favorite lessons. And electricity is one of my favorite subjects. We have to understand what electricity really is. And to break that down, we have to actually think of the word that electricity comes from. And it comes from electron. And an electron is one small, tiny part of an atom. Now, you might know that everything in the world that is matter is made out of these teeny tiny particles called atoms. And there's a lot of little small parts of an atom. There's protons, there's neutrons, and there's electrons. Yeah. And electrons play a huge part in electricity because electricity is what we call it. And this is the long definition of electricity. Electricity is what we call it when electrons move from one atom to another. That's it. That's what electricity is.
Seems pretty easy.
It's a very, very cool idea in science. Electrons move from one atom to another. But here's the funny thing. When we walk around and you move around, you're pushing air out of the way as you move from one place to another. And when you push air out of the way, guess what? Electrons from you and electrons from the air, they're moving back and forth from one atom to the next all the time.
Well,
wait, does that mean there's electricity around us all the time?
That sounds like it.
It actually does. And we call it static electricity. And you've probably experienced this. Have you ever experienced static electricity?
I've been zapped by static electricity. I reached for a doorknob and I got zapped.
You also have probably felt it when you get out of your car on a hot, windy, dry day and you go to close the door and pow, you feel that shock. Well, if you think you were moving around a lot of air, imagine your car driving down the freeway really fast. That moves a lot of air. Whoa. We're talking some serious electricity charge. And that is one big part of what we're experimenting with today. We're experimenting with the static electricity, but we're also going to experiment with electricity that we use in building circuits. See, sometimes having that electricity all around us isn't exactly what we want. Sometimes we want to send the electricity down a very specific path. And we give those tiny little electrons, we give them a path to follow in the form of circuits. Oh. And we have some really cool circuits that you're going to show us here in a little bit. But first, I think you want to show us a cool static electricity experiment, right?
Yeah. Our first project that we have in this kit, this is a static electricity generator. It's actually a mini Van de Graaff generator, which is pretty cool. Look it up if you have some time. But what this does, this static electricity generator, it creates static electricity. And it can make some really cool things happen. You probably used a balloon before to make your hair stand up, right?
Yeah, rub the balloon on your hair.
Absolutely. And then, Well, this basically does all that work without having to rub the balloon. This happens inside here, and it generates static electricity at the push of a button. So it's actually pretty cool.
Very neat.
The problem is it actually comes with two pieces that we have to put together, but it's super simple. You guys ready to put it together? So on one side, there's a big hole opening that goes really far deep inside. The other side has more of a cap kind of blocking it. We're going to use the side that's totally open without the cap. We're then going to find the end that has this little metal piece sticking out. And we need to cover up this metal piece when we slide this tube on. So as I'm about to slide the tube on, make sure you cover the metal piece completely and then slide it the rest of the way. And boom, you have your static electricity generator.
Now, if it stops going in, it doesn't slide on all the way like that, it probably means that you've caught on that little metal piece.
Sometimes you can get stuck and caught on the metal piece. If that does happen, just pull it back off and gently squish that metal piece inward so it gets a little bit smaller. I just did it right now. There we go. And it is a little easier to slide on now.
That's great.
So you want to have that metal piece completely hidden. That's how you know you have it on all the way. And then it's ready to go. We actually already installed our 2 AA batteries in the bottom. It's really easy. You just unscrew the bottom and the 2 batteries go right in there. They're kind of stuck in here right now, but they are inside. You put them back to back and you close it up and you're ready to go. When you push the button, you're going to hear that sound. Get ready for it. Let's see if you can pick it up.
Ooh,
yeah, I hear it. Very good. And you might even start to feel something in the air around you. That's because it's generating static electricity. That same tingly feeling that you might feel.
Is it dangerous at all, static electricity?
Now, this is not strong enough to hurt you at all. This is totally safe for all of our age groups, right? Ages 4 to 10, no problem at all. And when I turn it on, I hold it for a while. I can actually feel feel kind of like, almost feels like...
I could see your hair's moving.
Yeah, it will make hair stand up on your arm. It will make hair stand up on your head. But what's even cooler than this is in this kit. Now, in the kit, you also receive not only the wand, but you get this packet filled with different metallic items. And it's they're actually listed on here as well. And there's different shapes. I'm going to bring out one of them right now. So there's actually butterflies inside. Really cool. There's a sphere, which is like a circle, but a 3D circle. A cool sphere, like Earth. And then there's also another one that makes like a double sphere. So these are really cool. And I don't know, you guys may have seen something like these before, maybe at home, like on a Christmas tree or other holiday decorations. They use these almost on most trees. Anyway, let's go ahead and try this out. So I've actually peeled this one. All you do, you peel the metal material off of the paper, and you're left with this very lightweight material that, as you can see, it almost just kind of like just drifts in the air, almost kind of floats. But what we can do is if I gently toss this into the air while turning this on, we're going to see what happens. Are you ready? All right, here we go. Let's see if we can see some static electricity. Oh, look at that. So it looks like magic. In fact, most kids, when they see this, they think this is magic, when really this is just science. It's electricity.
You know, the funny thing is you let go of the button for a second and it still was flying. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, look at that.
Now, I wonder if I touch it. I wonder what would happen if we touch it.
I wonder what happened. You want to reach out? Let's see.
I'm going to give it a try. Whoa!
Whoa!
It like collapses in
like
the air.
Fell to the table.
So it's so charged with electrons that it's pushing and pulling with the air that it's flying through.
Whoa.
And it's so charged with electrons, but when I touch it, I discharge it. The electrons travel all the way down my body to the ground. Look at that.
Look at that.
And so it collapses. It's no longer charged with the electrons.
So you took that electricity from it. That's really cool.
Yeah.
In fact, I've done this before, and you probably can't see the roof, the ceiling. But if this goes all the way up to the ceiling, it could even cling and attach to the ceiling and give its charge to the ceiling.
Now, this is important. I really think that this is an indoor activity.
Yes.
I think if you tried to do this outside, the wind would just carry this away.
Float away.
It'd probably be a bad idea.
Absolutely indoors is a good idea. And you can try the different shapes. I wonder if different shapes would behave differently. That's something you guys can try at home and let us know what you discover, what you learn. So cool. I love this one.
Vandegraaff generator.
Yeah, this is
what I remember generator. When I was in elementary school. We had a science lab in our elementary school, and we take them to our labs when we do our science programs. But we have a tabletop Vandegraaff generator that sits about this tall
on a cart.
On
a
table.
Roll it out. Yep.
And when you put your hand on that thing, your hair stands straight up. And this is really neat. This reminds me of like a carnival or a fair because it's like a Vandegraaff generator on a stick.
Yeah,
That's
very
pretty
cool.
neat.
It is awesome. And there's a whole bunch of shapes to try out. So make sure you try them all and see what happens. See if they do something really different.
And of course, if you have any questions about any of this, like all of our experiments, feel free to send us an email or even give us a call. Yeah. There's also an option, I think, on our website where you can chat with a scientist, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I almost forgot to mention, but there's actually instructions on how to use this project inside this little pamphlet. So take a look in there if you're having any issues, and always reach out to us like we mentioned. All right, but we're going to move on to another project inside the Electrified Robotics kit.
So we're leaving static electricity behind, and we're going to the circuits now.
We're shifting over. Yeah, so now we're going to be learning about how we can take electricity, send it through a circuit, and make a robot that's really cool, make it work. And this robot's very special. It actually, I just turned it on. It has a really cool LED light, just kind of let you know that it's on. Looks kind of cool. And it has a special integrated circuit that allows it to look for light. And so what this robot does, it actually is a line tracing robot. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So you draw a line, any line you like.
I'm ready. I have a green marker.
All right, let's do it. Go for it. You can draw a line.
All right, so we're going to draw a line. Now, remember, it has to be a thick line, so I'm going to kind of scribble a little bit of a thick line.
It has to be a certain thickness. This is true.
And I'm going to use a green marker. Green's one of my favorite colors.
And we usually recommend using a white piece of paper along with your marker that you're using.
Cool.
Okay.
Now, so you guys can see the line that I drew. I just drew this right here.
I think it's a pretty good line myself. I think it's not bad.
Yeah, very cool.
So, number one, you always make sure you turn the robot on. And if you turn it on and you don't see that light turns on, what you should do is flip it over to the bottom, because you're going to see a little piece of plastic that sticks out. It's clear. It's kind of hard to see. It's a see-through piece of plastic. You pull that out, and that will allow the batteries to touch, and you'll be able to turn it on.
So it comes with batteries in it?
This has batteries already included.
Cool. Awesome.
That's true. And, all right, let's give it a shot. So I turn it on. And what I need to do is I get it started by setting it on the beginning of my line.
It's going to follow
Let's see if it follows the line.
No, it didn't follow.
Uh-oh, it didn't follow the line. It kind of skipped it. Let's try it one more time. Make sure. Uh-oh.
No, it completely ignored my line. You know what? Doesn't like green.
It doesn't like the green marker. Should we try something different?
We're going with...
We'll go with pink or purple, right? Whatever.
Yeah, this is a pink one right
Should we give it a shot?
Purple?
Let's purple.
We'll call it purple.
Let's try purple.
All right, here we go. We'll continue my line. Purple, and we'll see if the line tracking robot likes purple. I'm going to fill in the line so it's nice and solid.
So this robot has a couple sensors in it that's looking for light. That's how it's able to trace lines. Let's see if it likes this.
Hold on, I want to show everybody. Now we have a purple line.
That's right. All right, you ready? You want to let this one start?
Come on, line tracker.
All right, let's see if it,
the line,
let's see if it likes.
Totally ignores the line.
Oh my goodness. All right, you know what? I
don't think any of these colors are going to work.
I think I have a solution.
Yeah, I think so too. It's probably going to be a Sharpie.
Now, what we can do, we can actually take a marker, and we've done purple, we've done green, but what we can do now, we are going to try a black marker. And if we use this black marker correctly, and I think I have one right here. Oh, I do. Here it is.
Oh, very cool. Black Sharpie?
Yeah, there you go.
I have a brown Sharpie. I don't think that one will work.
Maybe we'll test that too. We'll see. Okay, so we have our markers over here. We already tested a few. Here I have a black Sharpie, and it's a permanent marker. So make sure if you are using permanent markers, check in with your parents, make sure it's okay, and just try not to get anything on your clothes and stuff, unless you have a lab coat then. That'd be good. Anyway, so when you draw the line, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick little line here.
It makes it a little bit thicker too. That's interesting.
So
it's almost like a triple line.
Yeah.
You draw the first line, and then you make another line right next to it, and another line. In fact, when you finish drawing this, I'm going to go walk it up there so everybody can see how thick the line is. Yeah. So check this out. I'm going to get a little bit closer so you guys can see. But the line is a little bit thick, and you can see the green line that didn't work and the purple line that didn't work. And now we're going to try this curve right here, and we're going to see if the robot will take that curve. Let's give it a try.
All right, here we go. Okay, move some stuff up to the side. All right, we turn it on. I'm going to start it at the edge. Just start the beginning of the robot at the edge line. And whoa, we have a successful robot. Might be difficult to see from all the way over there, but this robot turned and followed that curve perfectly. That was awesome.
So it would be fun to experiment with other colors and other types of markers.
Pencils?
I know we had pencils. I know we had a dry erase marker. This is a low odor, which is a lot safer for inside. So I know we have a lot of different markers here. I'm not going to try them. You're not going to try them. I think you guys should try them at home. It'll be a lot of fun to see what markers the line tracker likes. Now, it's important that you have white paper. We're just using a regular sheet of white paper. That's perfect. That's all the line tracker needs.
Yeah, bigger the paper, the further you can draw a line, the further your robot can go. Get a really big piece of paper, your robot might be able to cruise around your whole room. That'd be kind of cool.
Very neat.
All right, we have another robot to check out. This looks pretty similar, but it's a different robot. This uses the same types of circuits inside, but this one you can actually program and give it up to 100 different commands, and it will memorize those commands.
I'm going to move this paper out.
Yeah, we don't need that anymore.
Check it out.
Now, just like the other robot, there's usually a little plastic tab that you need to remove before you can try it out. And then you flip the switch, and the red light turns on to show you that, hey, the batteries are in, and it's on. It's ready to go. So this programmable robot has a little integrated circuit built in that helps it remember commands. And to program it, it's actually pretty simple. There's a few buttons on here. You ready? There's forward, left, right, and enter. Pretty easy.
Piece of cake.
To make it go, I'm just going to have this robot go straight and stop. Watch how simple it is. I'm going to click forward 10 times. If you want to pause the video right now and try it, you can definitely do it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I clicked forward 10 times. Now I'm going to click enter once. Here we go. The red light flashed. That means it saw that command and it's registering it, it's memorizing it.
So you have to hit enter after every direction, right?
Correct. If I were to do any left or right changes, I'd always have to hit enter after I do the different directions.
Gotcha.
So for now, all I did was 10 clicks forward. I clicked enter once. Now I'm ready to set the program. So this is the one I'm going to use.
To lock it in.
To lock it in. I'm going to hold down enter for about 3 or 4 seconds, but I'll know when it's ready because the light will start to flash and it will keep flashing. Here we go. I'm going to hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, the light's flashing. I can now let go. Now
it's still flashing.
This is good. This means that it's in standby mode. If I hit enter one time right now, if I click it one quick click, it will do the program I told it to do. So as soon as I click it, I'm going to do it this way so you guys can see it move forward. It should go, I'm guessing right about here. Here we go. Oh, Not bad. It went forward. It did curve a little bit.
He doesn't like driving on the cloth.
Even though, yeah, the cloth moved a little. And another thing that can happen is if you go under here, these pieces are the pieces that touch the ground. They're like the tires. Sometimes the tires, you just kind of wiggle them, pull them back a little bit, and that will make your robot go a little bit straighter than it was before. So that's a good tip.
So how can you make him do that line again?
So if I do it again, guess what? I didn't turn it off, and the light's still flashing, so it's still in standby mode. So if I just click enter again, it should do that same command once again, right?
Awesome.
And let me do a little more difficult of a program here. I'm going to have it go straight, turn around, and come back to me. Here's some quick programming of the robot. Here we go. I know it's a lot of directions. I'm going to click forward.
How did you reset it?
Oh, good question. Yeah, if I want to do a new program, you have to turn it off, turn it back on, and now you're ready to reset a new program.
It's not blinking anymore. You can tell
it's not blinking. This means it's ready for a new program. I'm going to have it go forward, turn around, come back. Here we go. 10 clicks forward. I'm going to do, let's see, I've hit enter now. Boom. Now I'm going to have it do something different. I'm going to have it turn around and come back. I'm going to click left. Let's do 6 times. Click enter. Now I'm going to have it come back to me. I need to go forward again.
Oh, another 10.
Another 10, exactly the same as I did before. Now I click enter once. And now I hold enter to set the program. Here we go.
Lock it in.
Lock it in. All right, here we go. Let's give it a test and see what it does on the felt. Here we go. All right. Whoa, look at that. It went forward. It turned around. It came right back. I love it.
You know what would be a lot of fun? I wonder if we put an obstacle and then tried to get the robot to go to the obstacle and then go around the obstacle. You know, I'll bet we could program this robot to do that. But we're not going to do it. That's something you can try at home. Take this robot. It works much better on a hard surface. And take anything. We used our pencil cup right here. Yeah. But you can use anything. We had a can of soup earlier, and we were playing with this robot, and we had him driving around the can of soup. So you guys can experiment. And then if you want to make your life really easy, get that paper, put the can of soup on the paper, draw the line going around the can of soup, and have your line tracker do it. He'll have no problem going around that. So very cool. What a great way to use static electricity and integrated circuits to learn about science, technology, and engineering and mathematics. I mean, what a great lesson. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And again, we'd like to thank you for joining us for all 5 of our grab and go STEM package lessons. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you and stay safe.